SmartB Sports Update Podcast is brought to you by Optimum CBD. For all your rest and recovery needs, CBD products are your best bet. Go to OptimumCBD.store to order now. Free delivery on all orders over $99. You must be over 18 to order. I use Optimum CBD products personally for my rest and recovery. I train 6 days a week in Jiu-Jitsu, as you've probably heard on the SmartB Sports Update Podcast. I teach, I train, I compete. And without Optimum CBD products, I wouldn't be able to do it. Optimum CBD for all your rest and recovery needs. How are you going, Gase?
Very good, thank you.
Yeah, it's been, I think April, March we did our last.
Yeah, it's been a little bit.
Yeah, and since then you've done so much. You've had 2 fights, both wins, and silvered at ADCC Trials in controversial circumstances.
Yeah, it's plenty of first too.
Especially after the Adelphorn Reno Mearlock in ADCC.
But it's not a submission, guys.
Yeah. So why are you tapping? So if you're not allowed to slam from there, then why are they tapping?
Exactly.
But let's talk about your... So I stuffed up my run sheet anyway. I realised the trials were before your fight with Gina, right?
Yes, I went Gina, ADCC, then had another fight, and then a local comp.
Yeah, so Gina was at Shuriken in April.
Yep.
And then you managed the win by second round rear naked choke.
Yep. Second round strangle, yep.
Yeah. So we talked about it last time, right? It was striker versus grappler.
Ultimately.
Yeah, and it was the need to get a hold of her to take the grappling. And then, but I was watching and it was awesome. It was such a good fight. That's just congratulations.
Thanks.
So she was... I wouldn't say dominating, but she was doing quite well in the...
She was very good. I remember last time we spoke on the podcast, I actually talked about her boxing background, and it really did show in that first round.
Yeah.
And my lack of head movement really showed the connection of those punches.
Yeah. And, I got to highlight, I actually talked to Johnny afterwards. He should get a mouthguard sponsor for you.
I do, actually.
Yeah, because... That was I was watching it.
Elite mouthguard, so shout out to them.
We'll get Gase, tell the story about why your mouthguard kept coming out.
Yeah. So that was it. So for those who didn't watch, I was watching it with my daughter. Yeah. Right. And she thought you were getting like really, really punished because your mouthguard kept coming out, and I was explaining to her. She's like 9. Yeah. No, it looks worse because the mouthguard is coming out.
Yeah, it
because
does.
If something moves, like your hair moves,
special
water,
effects.
sweat comes off, something like that. Yeah, exactly. I said like in the movies. Yeah. So what happened with the mouthguard? Because it came out, 2-3 times?
Yeah. I just kept like, when she hit me, my jaws were just a little bit open, so when she hit me, it was like perfect timing. Yeah. And it just like wiped my mouthguard straight in my mouth.
And so you didn't have your I spoke to Johnny about it, so you want to tell the story of their mouthguard? What happened? Like, why was it coming out so much? Because it does, like, my thing with my daughter was, if the fight went to decision, even if you had if it had been close, things like the mouthguard flying out, stuff like that, making it look worse, would have given her the thing. So,
upper hand. Ultimately, probably could have, especially in that first round when it kept coming out.
Because even if they weren't big hits, even if they weren't damaging, just the simple fact that the mouthguard comes out, like you said, special effects. Makes it look much worse.
It does make it look much worse than what it was. Yeah. But I ate it and it was alright.
Yeah, exactly. And so you forgot your mouthguard. Well, that was the...
A little bit of something like that. So we had moulded, just like like we did in the rugby days.
Yep.
Shove it in there and mould. So it wasn't quite bite down on mine at the back.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But this time I'm sorted.
Yeah, so
Trust.
You mouthguard.
Yeah, I got a brand new mouthguard and it's very thick. So one of the thickest ones they have.
Okay, cool.
So the boys at Elite Mouthguard really sorted me out.
Yeah, so anyone who needs a mouthguard, seriously.
Hit them up, man. It's very, very good.
Yeah. If you're going to do striking, I talked to the guys that, like, we implemented a beginner striking at my gym just because a bunch of the guys wanted to do some striking, and I told them, you got to get a mouthguard though.
100%. But this one I can vouch because I've been hit in the mouth many times. Since April. Yeah. So since I got my mouthguard replaced, it really does hold, and it does kind of make a difference because where I have my mouthguard at the moment, it slightly just keeps my mouth open, so my jaw's kind of locked at that lock stage. So when I get hit, it actually doesn't rock me as much as what I would have if my mouth was closed. Yeah. Well, theoretically, that's what I think. Yeah. But yeah.
No, that's what they're for. Yeah. It's just to help
to lock it in, and this one you have to push at the back so it actually clicks into place.
Yeah, so. That's right. And so then during that fight, the first round, obviously there was she was like piecing me up with her boxing. Like she had fast hands, and I just wasn't like, I was there, but my mind was still like delayed. So I was like
getting hit, and I was like, fuck, I need to move my head.
You need to move
your head. And I could hear my darling on the side, like, will you get a head movement going?
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, sweet. So near the end of round 1, I actually started pulling my head movement back in.
Yep.
And like, it was like, I started timing the slips. So I was like, okay, sweet.
And so you knew you had it then. And then, so what was the corner advice at the end of the first round?
At the end of the first round, I think he told me to hit a body lock.
Yep.
And take down, maybe a single. I think he told me to hit a single. But I was telling the corner, I was like, I'm awake, boys, I'm good. Like, I sat down and I was like, no, I'm good now. I got it. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. I'm good. Like, I'm awake and I'm finally comprehending, like, sweet. I need to move my head, keep my hands up, stay responsible.
Stay responsible. Yeah, that's one of the things with striking, right? If you watch much kickboxing and stuff, even boxing, the first round or two is often a sounding out period.
Like you want to feel them out. You want to be able to like see what they're going to give you, but also like your reactions, their reactions, type of thing. And the fact about me is that sometimes when I fight, it takes me a little bit to wake up.
Yep.
So I've been practicing like really switching on in my warm-ups, just trying to be like in round 3 once I hit round 1 in the cage.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. And that's because in jiu-jitsu, it's kind of funny. Like when you do jiu-jitsu purely, I don't find there is that sounding out period.
No, you just like
if you
touch
lay there and try and work it
yeah.
out, you're gonna get submitted, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's it's kind of, and you, as you know, we discussed before, you're more of a grappling background, so that sounding out period is a little bit weird, I guess, for you in the MMA.
You're getting punched in the face. It's not like I'm going to get grappled. It's kind of different. So you got to like deal with getting punched in the face and then working your game plan into it.
Yeah, that's why I don't do MMA, boxing, any sport. I don't want to get punched in the face.
But it's fun.
No,
it's good for the soul.
Like, no, it hurts. I don't want to do this anymore. I mean, I've been kneed in the head in jiu-jitsu multiple times.
Yeah, you get accidental like elbows.
Yeah.
Like eye pokes.
Yeah, eye pokes. Yeah, I've been eye poked in actually by no gi absolute by a brown belt eye poke straight in the eye. So I always like to there's a thing in jiu-jitsu where people talk about spazzy white belts, and I always say like, no, it happens at all levels.
Yeah, 100%. I literally am a like certified brown belt spaz.
Yeah,
that's literally what I classify myself as in jiu-jitsu.
Have you seen that there was a video the Meow Brothers posted where it was like a crazy black belt roll? One of the Meows, like the world champion kind of thing. And his partner was also a black belt and accidentally elbowed him across the mouth and split the whole lip open. Like the whole thing is, and of course I think it was Paulo, and he was like, let's just keep going.
Oh, of course it is him.
Yeah. But yes, it doesn't matter what level you are. There's always going to be strikes. But it's obviously worse in striking. You get hit in the head way more.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. Unfortunately, you do.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But also sometimes for us grapplers, is what you need to like set up your takedowns. And trying to get in, and you understand that you're gonna actually take some. At some point in the fight, you have to take something to get something. And
so when so with the Gina, right? So you were getting struck in the first round, came out. I think it was about 2 minutes into the second round, where you actually got the you got hold of her, and I tapped my daughter Charlotte. I was like, oh, it's over now, because it was just like bang, like so strong. I could see like the grip, and then the progression was like it was a rear strangle, So you moved to the back, and because it was funny because I was saying to my daughter like, oh well, the other girl, Gina, did the wrong thing. Like her defense was poor, actually.
But unfortunately, CKB's defense to any type of strangle rear naked chokes is never really to fight the hands first.
Yeah.
So I think that it's just how it's done there.
Yeah, and that was it. Like, because she didn't go teach the kids, First thing, protect your neck.
Fight the hands.
Yeah.
What's choking you out?
Yeah.
You should fight that first, please.
Just protect your neck. First thing. And so she didn't. Yeah. And then your arm went under, and I was like, it's over. Come on, man.
It was, and there was the setup too. Was like that second round. My corners, Mims, and my darling were telling me, just keep applying the pressure, and then like go body head, like start hitting her body. And I had a few good body shots in that second round, and I think that's ultimately what kind of slowed her down.
Yep.
She was like, oh.
Big body shots.
Yeah, and I hit her with a couple left hooks.
Yep.
Which kind of like made her say, okay, she's going to punch on now. Like,
it was really like, to me, a very different fight, first to second round, So it was that was one of the things, like she definitely won first round, second round. Even if it had gone, you definitely won. And that was, you were out striking her.
Yeah,
that was the kind of thing we can talk about when we get to the Chiquita fight. That's really like the epitome of the striking I think that I've seen. But from you, I mean, when compared, so you as you said, you adjusted your head movement. You were able to get those strikes through, opened you up for the takedown.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a complete takedown, but and then climb up on her back and choke her out, and it was awesome. So you also got cut in that fight, and I love it because we gave you that white rash guard.
But I love it. Like, I actually, all my fights I've had white rash guards.
Yeah.
So I just like the colour.
It's like, actually my wife saw, because she said, "Oh man, you shouldn't be giving her a white rash guard." Then the commentator
was saying it. Like, there's nothing wrong with white.
Yeah. It's just like the blood is more telling. That's another thing with like
it's cooler.
Who was, I think when Joanna Jacek destroyed Jessica Penne.
Yeah.
And Jessica Penne was wearing a white top, and it came out of the octagon.
Pretty much red.
Yeah. And so that's another one where like damage can look worse than it is, But so that was, where was the cut actually?
I actually got a cut on my eye.
Yeah.
And that cut I got 2 weeks just before the fight. So it was like a almost healed, kind of like still soft wound.
Yeah.
And then I got cut on my lip, which is where I got hit with the mouth guard. And the mouth guard flew out.
Yeah, the mouth guard.
Yeah, it kind of like was all in one.
Yeah.
But like I've never been cut before in a fight or in training.
Yep.
Since before that, 2 weeks prior, and it was interesting.
Yeah, it's bad to get cut in training. What's his name? The guy who just beat Sugar Sean.
Marab.
Oh, Marab.
Marab, yeah. So did you see his whole thing where he got cut in training and then cut out his own stitches, and Dana White was going crazy? Because I don't know how loose it is in the Shuriken in New Zealand, but with the US Commission, they'll cancel your fight if you have a cut.
2 weeks out. No, we're pretty good as long as it's healed and it doesn't look like it's like, because you could barely see mine, but the tissue was still soft.
Well, that's it's like the Nate Diaz has perpetual soft tissue above his eye.
Oh,
about that? So that's why Jorge Masvidal
cut it.
Yeah. So anyone who fights Nate Diaz, if they know, they just hit him in the same place over and over again because his tissue.
I feel like his whole face would be like I mean, that man's been in so many brawls.
So bad. Just keep getting hit. It's fine. I'll get there.
Yeah,
as you said, like you got to accept getting hit to get the takedown, right?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah. So it was a great fight. Like saw the grappling thing, and then we'll get to ADCC, but I want to move on to Chiquita. So that one was again like a striker versus a grappler. Yeah,
she came with a very good, like, well accomplished kickboxing.
Yeah.
Or stand up.
But then she couldn't hit you.
Yeah. So again was like I was just trying to like showcase my style of boxing, like how comfortable I can be with not getting hit and actually hitting back and setting things up. And I actually blocked a whole heap of punches.
Yeah.
And everyone's just like, "Oh, she's hitting her," and I'm like, "No, she's not."
Yeah. Well,
like it's, yeah.
I actually messaged Johnny afterwards and said, "Man, the head movement was phenomenal because you slipped so many punches," and he took credit for it.
Used to say, "Oh, it's the drilling." It's the drilling.
Yeah. Johnny's off camera.
She's the artist.
Yeah, he took credit for it. No,
I love it.
Yeah, he did. But that was the thing. Like we were watching that, and again, my daughter was watching it with me. And my daughter doesn't want to do striking. She just likes to watch.
Yeah.
Watching because I think she may be a little bit crazy. But seriously, that was like such an noticeable improvement in the Gina Gee first round versus Chiquita, and you ended up knocking her out.
Yeah. TKO. I think.
TKO. I
don't really
technically know the difference between TKO and because they come.
I feel like because me and my son had this debate.
Yeah.
Because everyone was telling us that it was a KO, but me and my son said no because technically she was still like.
Yeah, that's the thing, but they put them under the same knockout / TKO. So, Stipe Miocic got knocked out by Francis Ngannou, right? That's a knockout.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's like sleepy. Goodbye.
But there's those flash knockouts. Like I've been flash knocked out before.
Like you just go black, like
black. Everything goes out, but then you come back straight away.
Yeah.
And then they count those as TKO. So And
standing
actually,
8 count.
Yeah, that's a nonsense thing in boxing. It's stupid. I hate that more than anything. Honestly, gosh, Tyson Fury is the master of exploiting it. But yeah, so what did you change in training between the Gina Gee and Chiquita fight to get such a? It was such an improvement. You know, like really, really noticeable improvement. And you know, it might not be that it improved. You always had that ability, but it was like really noticeable difference from someone who's not privy to your training sessions and stuff like that. So what did you change in training to go from getting your mouth guard knocked out to barely
Obviously, I got a new mouth guard.
Yep.
That was a great start.
Yep.
But I don't know, I just like became a little bit more comfortable with myself and decided that, like, just accepted that, okay, this is how I fight. Now, how can I fine-tune certain things that I know that I wanted to showcase, especially going up against another striker. And then we just drilled. A whole lot of drilling, a whole lot of sacrifice for my teammates to give me their bodies to be able to drill what I needed to drill. And I just had a lot of fun at that camp. Like, I had a lot of fun discovering and learning and getting absolutely smashed in a training room.
So you got to just get smashed to get better, I guess.
Well, a little bit. Sometimes it's good for the soul.
And so that was in Queensland on Beatdown.
Yeah, that was on Beatdown. It was a very good promotion too, might I add. Very good. Yeah.
And so did they excuse me. So when you say it's a very good promotion, what was different between that and say Shuriken?
Nothing really. They both are pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, they were both run really well. The Beatdown boys actually had a schedule that was like really well kept. Like, I was loving it. It was very well organized. You knew where you had to be when you had to be there. There was like a lot of room. You still had a lot of room to warm up.
Yep.
Like, the areas, the venue was beautiful. The hotel was very close by, within walking distance. Like, it's pretty much the same as Shuriken. Except New Zealand, you got fresh air, so I think they win. I'm sorry. It just pushes the...
Oh my God. Well, you were in Queensland, which doesn't count because Queensland's not part of Australia.
It is very beautiful there, though, Queensland.
Yeah, but it's full of Queenslanders. I'm a diehard New South Welshman, you know, because rugby league, so I don't accept...
Yeah, I forget that you guys...
So no Forex and no Great Northern for you.
Well, Great Northern is the extreme that I will go, right? So if I have to, because there's nothing else, I'll go to the Great Northern. Well,
if you must, at least.
Yeah, if I have to. Like, my son calls it, Jordan, he calls it God's Nectar, Great Northern.
It's the Garden of Eden, is it?
Yeah. Bro, you need to get some better beers. If you think that's God's Nectar, what's above that? But yeah, so how about the preparation with... So obviously New Zealand is a longer flight. It is a longer flight, yeah.
It's like 3 hours.
Yeah, it's further away.
Not
So
too bad.
what about the preparation, like arrival days and stuff like that? Do you arrive same time with...
Yeah, we tried to arrive Thursday. For Beatdown, I actually arrived weigh-in day. I did a little bit different. Usually I would go the night before, but because weigh-ins were at 1 p.m,
Yep.
I knew, okay, sweet, I'll be good. So we'll go early, caught the early flight in, pretty much went back to the hotel, checked my weight, make sure I was good. And then, went to weigh-ins from there. And then I was able to rehydrate straight away. There's also actually one really good thing about Beatdown is that they allow the athletes a little bit more time to rehydrate by having their weigh-ins a little bit early in the day instead of waiting until like 6 p.m.
So what do you... There's a lot of discussion around that, right? So obviously you cut weight to get underweight, and then you do your weigh-in the day before, and then you rehydrate and you're back to your weight, right?
Well, you're not really. You're kind of like back to like a fit walk-around weight in camp, maybe.
But you have people like to use the outliers, it lies in the extreme to prove their point. Like Joe Rogan always talks about it. Alex Pajeda would cut to, what is it, 185.
That blows my mind how he does it.
But then on the day of the fight, he'd be 210.
Easily.
That's ridiculous. So he calls it sanctioned cheating. And that's one of the reasons they don't fight a lot in California, apparently. Because California, the commission has a 10% weight regain rule.
Oh, okay, so it's similar to one? Like, you can only go...
Well,
within
one has
5
the
kilos.
hydration tests and all this craziness like that.
But you still, when you rehydrate, you can't be over 5 kilos more than...
Yeah. So it's because that's to prevent the people from doing the extreme weight cuts. So what do you think about that in professional sports? Like, actually that weight cut back to... with the... obviously, okay, so Islam Makhachev is another prime example.
Yeah.
Apparently he gains like 30 pounds.
Khabib was the same.
Yeah, Khabib is ridiculous.
He would pack something crazy.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think it's just each to their own.
Yeah.
I mean, if you make the weight the day before, or you make the weight when you need to make the weight, it really, good on you. Like, good on you. You deserve to fight at that weight then, I guess. Like, it's...
Yeah, I see
really...
it kind of like the steroids in jiu-jitsu, right? It's legal.
Yeah, it's legal, yeah. So, as much as that, like, is annoying, it's like, well, what can you do?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to start taking roids just because they are taking roids. It's not going to change anything for me. So, yeah, I'm a big believer in it's each to their own. Like, if some people, I'm like, oh, bro, you could just go up weight division.
Yeah.
And still be okay.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm like, if that's what they want to do to their body...
Yeah, and because it is a thing, right? So whatever the sport is, doesn't matter what the sport is. If it's within the rules, you do it.
Yeah,
that's it.
Exactly.
Because
yeah.
that's how you win, right? Exploit the rules as much as possible.
That's the whole of Sydney, brother.
That's not
as far
sport,
as long as I've
life,
been
right?
here, it's like literally the way it goes. That's the world.
Just life, yeah. That's like exploit the rules as much as possible.
Push the boundaries, very much.
And so. But you don't basically you don't regain a lot of weight, right? You don't cut a lot of weight, you don't regain a lot of weight.
Yeah, I still do. Because I walk around fairly heavy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm Samoan.
Yeah.
Like, Samoan, I've just like, people have like they assume I weigh a certain amount just because I'm my height.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm solid. I'm not like petite.
Yeah, so like a fire hydrant. like short and hard.
Well, yeah, okay. I guess if that fits, yeah.
But yeah, well, because that's the thing, right? You know, you see people on the line. I was going to say on the line. On the internet, right? See people on the internet and you can't judge height, size or anything like that. No. And so when people meet you, it must be quite short. Because you're like, first time I ever saw you, you were much shorter than I thought you were.
Yeah,
to be honest.
yeah.
It's like much shorter, you know, because it's like a head shorter kind of thing than I thought. I thought you would be my height.
No.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
But then you would be like a zombie, actually, way too light if you were at 65. Yeah. So,
if I was to walk around at fight weight or 2066, my training would be a lot more rough on my body.
Yeah.
Like, I feel it would take a lot on my body and my mind, like, because I have to keep up with a lot of males. I train mostly in male-dominant rooms, so to keep up with them, I kind of have to have a little bit of oomph about me.
And so is there a lot of female MMA fighters? I was reading this, like, literally this morning, to be honest, like, just out of, curiosity about female MMA in the Asia-Pacific region, and I saw that even Tapology and stuff like that don't do individualized weight class rankings.
No, they just do like one general ranking.
Yeah, and so you're like, I think 102 in
the whole of the
Oceanic region. So is it really, like, I guess it is, but like how hard is it to find females to train with?
Very hard.
Yeah. And you're probably going to have to fight those people if you train with them because there's so few of them,
Yeah, generally it's hard to find anyone within my weight class to train with.
Yeah.
I mean, here you have Arlene, who's a featherweight in Sydney. I don't think there's any other featherweights actually in Sydney that I actually know of.
Yeah.
In freestyle you have Amina, but she's flyweight, and you have FFT. The girls there are flyweights. Far's flyweight, Cass is strawweight, Nina's a bantamweight.
Yeah.
She's recently just arrived at FFT. Who else is there? There's Jess, but she's also very light. So it is kind of hard for me to find female bodies, especially around my size. I think the closest probably, it actually would be Arlene. And then I have my mate Amy in Central Coast.
Yep.
She's a really good body for me to train with, and she's still a lot smaller than I am.
Yeah, and so you obviously just have to train mostly with males. You try to train with the males your size? Yeah,
sometimes I do, or depending on my opponent, I'd go equivalent to what their structure is like, or their body type is kind of like.
Okay, yeah.
And I've been very fortunate at this camp where I've been able to get sparring in at freestyle, and a lot of the boys there are actually around my weight and my like similar body types. So it's been like very useful this camp to be able to actually like explore my MMA with people around my same weight class, or roughly.
Yeah, and so do you have again, I'm going to get to ADCC soon, but do you have a upcoming fight?
Yes, I do, on Shuriken.
Yep.
So December 7th, I'll be having a fight against Anastasia.
Okay, yep.
Yeah. So this is actually a rematch.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she was my first fight back into the MMA scene after about 3.5 years off.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so what happened in the last
And I
one?
lost.
Yeah.
So this one was like a split decision loss back in Dunedin. So I did this one on XFC Dunedin under Metor.
Yep.
And this was my first actual fight under FFT, actually.
And so now you got to get the fight. I hate split decisions so much.
Yeah, me too. But like that fight actually showed so much more of my jiu-jitsu in MMA. Like I was throwing heel hooks and
awesome.
it was like actually a really good grapplers match if you were to watch it back.
Yep.
I actually had her arm belly down, and I went pop 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 pop.
Oh God!
But she's like stalemate, just like. And I was like, okay.
That's where you got to be, yeah.
She's a bit, yeah, exactly. But she's like a bit of Cold War, Russian War type of cold.
We'll get a clip of that one for you. So I hate split decisions because it means you really do require a rematch. Right?
Yeah,
it has to
pretty
be a
much.
rematch
Yeah.
if there's a split decision. It's not they have things where it's like Jose Aldo, they reckon should have rematched with Conor McGregor, but a 13-second knockout. Does that really deserve a rematch? No matter your history.
Yeah.
But a split decision means
it needs to be done again.
Yeah, because some people thought you won.
Yeah.
You know. So that's in December 7th, you said?
Yeah, that's December 7th, back in New Zealand, and that also will be on UFC Fight Pass.
Oh, awesome, yeah, it's good. I love it when it's on UFC Fight Pass.
Yeah, it's so convenient, and a lot of people have UFC Fight Pass.
Yes, because it's cheap and good. And, yeah. All right, let's talk about ADCC Trials, okay?
Oh, let's talk.
Because it was super frustrating to watch for me. But, so you had 3 fights, okay? And
Yes.
I want to touch on the first one and the third one most, right? So the first one was against Rosabella from Sydney West Martial Arts.
Yeah, your favourite.
Yes, and so that was a hard fight. She's a big girl.
She's a big girl, yeah. She's very like strong and young.
Yeah.
Like she's just 18.
So have you heard Luke Martin's comments on that fight?
No.
He said, I don't want to misquote him 100%, but I don't mind misquoting him a little bit. But he basically said that she was winning, and then the only reason you won was because you got an unfair reset.
Oh, yes, because he was complaining about something about underhook or something.
Yeah, because
or some sort of grip.
When you had the underhooks and you went out of bounds, the ref brought you back in and let you lock the body lock or something like that.
Yeah, because we had the body lock.
Yeah, but he reckons you didn't. And so I'll go find it. It was on the Subversion podcast, actually.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You should give it a listen. So what do you think about that to Luke? Throw Luke under the bus.
Not stirring everyone.
I'm going to make a lot of enemies.
Oh, that's right.
See, that was a really, really, really tough fight. So you ended up winning points.
It was, yeah.
4-0?
Yeah.
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 And that was the only reason you got the takedown was because of the unfair reset.
Listen, I thought I was actually throwing out some good technique that match. And she was mostly on the defense, which I don't know how you assume someone's winning if they're mostly on the defense.
There might be a bit of bias.
Just a little bit.
Because I also heard mention on, I think it was on a Craig Jones podcast, he was talking about her and you, like something that he spoke on. He said that was that you were the 2 strongest.
We were, which I don't understand why they had, the tables had turned that way and they'd put us first. It would have been nice to have her like maybe second.
Yeah.
Because then it would have been like more fun. But she was very fun. Like, and Rosabella is one of the most beautiful people you'll ever come across. Like, she's so lovely.
Yeah.
So it was just, it was fun. Like,
I thought it was a great back and forth.
It was.
And like, I've talked about it before. I think the broadcast in both of those trials was atrocious. So when I saw that, Luke Whining podcast, he's fully going to kill me. But I went back and tried to watch, and you can't see from the camera.
No, it's like an awkward angle so far away today.
Yeah. So
it's terrible.
I was like, I don't know if I agree with him or not. I disagree with him just simply because, again, I've got the bias. So he can have the bias, I can have the bias. But I thought it was a really good fight, and then that takedown was phenomenal, and that was it. Like, that was the thing. It was a takedown straight to the side,
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's in ADCC. It's 4 points.
4 points.
Yeah. But then, you had the second fight against, what was her name?
Jessica. Yeah.
So,
my gosh, that girl has some big thighs, man.
Yeah.
Her legs were pumped.
Yeah.
I was like, jeez. I was like, I'm Samoan, you're Asian. How's it?
So that one I thought that was clear. You know, you won that one on points 5-0, 5-0. Yeah, that one was really clear. But let's talk about the Nikki fight. Right?
It was a big debacle.
Yeah, it was. Okay, so first of all, obviously you got disqualified for a slam.
Yes.
Okay.
Also, I just want to say this: ADCC is so soft.
Yeah.
Like, why do you guys have such rules and then go, oh no, but you can't do that? Like, don't make rules. Don't try and make it out like some sort of rough sport or like this is the, like, you know, this is the top tier of like rough jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
and
but then
you guys can't even handle rough jiu-jitsu. What's going on?
They have the rule, and I've heard from a lot of people who were there, who were there spectating, who were competing, that the referees were atrocious.
Oh, they were terrible. Like, there were so many bad calls, and the tables were just as bad as the refs.
They have 30 judges on each mat, and they still get it so wrong. So, Nick, you were inside Nikki's closed guard.
Yeah, she jumped guard.
Yeah, she jumped guard, and then when she went for a mere lock, right? Which is an overhook on the
elbow. Yeah.
I like to call it a white belt technique that would never work on an elite competitor, but then Adele did one in ADCC.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but she threw her whole body weight into it.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah. So Nikki gets she's obviously going for a mere lock to me. I was like, oh, and then, you know, in my mind while I was watching it, I was like, Gase should slam.
Yeah, because in my mind I was like, I should slam.
Yeah, because the rule is, if a submission is on, you're allowed to slam. Mm-hmm. And then you slammed and continued for a little bit, then it stopped, and then everyone looked around going, what the hell's going on here?
So what happened was the table actually stopped us.
Oh.
And I was like, all right, you old fellas on the table with no glasses on. Like, how can you see that far?
Yeah. But it kind of, to me, it seemed like they didn't know about jiu-jitsu.
No, they didn't. They had no idea, and they were just like, no, it's an overhook. And I'm so confused at that point. I'm like...
Yeah, your face was so funny. I was going to screenshot it and send it to you.
I was like, huh? And they're like... Even the ref was like questioning them because he was like, no, it wasn't an overhook, because he could understand what was going on.
Yeah.
The man was right there.
Yeah.
Like, he's literally got the front row seat.
And you weren't facing directly towards the table. So
no, the table was... So we were like this way, and she had the lock in off, but my back was towards the table.
Yeah.
So they weren't even really looking in. They couldn't really see directly what was going on. And the ref standing right here.
Yeah.
Like, looking directly at us.
The fact she's trying to submit.
Yeah, and when I slammed, Nikki didn't do anything, the ref didn't do anything.
Yes.
So I was like, oh, cool, I'm in the clear.
Yeah, and then, so this is the thing, right? The rule states if they have the submission on. I really hate the rule. I think it's really stupid.
You can slam.
Yeah, you're allowed to slam. But how does even a ref or a table know if a submission is on? Because a submission is on when the person feels pain.
You can be getting a wrist lock.
Yeah.
And they not know, and then you slam someone, they're like, oh, what did you do that for? Like,
oh, no. And so, in the end, Nikki punches her ticket and goes to trials, and then you obviously get second for the second time.
Yes.
You're the new Craig Jones, Silver Surfer.
It is the Silver Surfer for real.
Yeah, but so... I want to see you versus Nikki again.
I think everyone does.
Yeah.
Like, just a proper match. But, I mean, I've been hitting subversion now.
Yeah. I'm going to tell him. I'll tell him as well. So one of the things I really want to ask about that actual fight as well was really funny, because when Nikki was engaging with the stand-up, you would disengage, and at one point Ali Al-Kir from SWA, he shouted at you. What did he shout? Because he was pointing at you and like giving you...
Do not turn your back!
Yes, that's what I thought.
Do not turn your back, and I was like, oops!
Because the disengagement was running away.
Yeah, because I went to go turn, because usually like you turn and you kick your leg out, and I start turning back. But I must have turned too much.
Yeah.
Instead of just like whipping my leg out and then turning
jumps
around.
out of his chair and points at you and like
do not turn.
like an angry
Sorry,
dad.
I wasn't ready again.
So that was really interesting because it was like that fight was really, really close. And I think the fact that Nikki jumped guard showed how close it was, because she was looking... Anyone
like,
who jumps
kind of panicked.
guard, they're desperately looking for something.
Yeah, they need to like attach to something to create something.
Yeah.
Where I'm like... let's scramble.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, let's
really
have fun.
good fight, ruined by referees, right? So that's many people told me the refereeing was atrocious, the organisation was atrocious.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
like, I want to go back to the days when George and ADCC trials were run in Australia, because that one was much better.
That one was actually run really well.
Yeah.
And the roofing was like, you had a couple of mishaps, but there weren't as much.
Yeah, I thought Hope got robbed in
Yeah, she did.
yeah. Then they just... I asked her like 2 weeks later, like... Oh, it was really that... Because she went for she got a sweep.
Yeah.
And didn't get a...
Yeah, didn't get the points.
And it was really playing in my head a lot. Because, you know, I'm a referee, I do refereeing, and I'm really interested in, like, why referee decisions are made. Sometimes I watch videos of people I know, and I send them videos and say, why did you make that decision? And I asked her a couple of weeks later, and she said it was because there was a submission on, so the sweep doesn't count. And if that's the rule, that's the stupidest rule in the world.
Yeah, 100%.
Because she had a submission on. Like, she had a submission position, and it ended up in a sweep. So you're saying to me, ADCC, the pinnacle of
Jiu-jitsu,
grappling, that you can't do a dilemma, attack a submission.
And sweep.
Yeah,
but that's
sweep.
the whole point of jiu-jitsu.
And so, like, you know, Gordon Ryan, he has the thing where it's like, in his Kimura defense DVD, he talks about the last line of defense is just to let them roll you over and take mount. Because it's better to get mounted than it is to submit, right? To get you to submit.
Yeah.
So is that what ADCC is saying? If you have a Kimura on me, and I let you take mount, you get no points?
Yeah, because ultimately you've had an attack on as you've swept.
Yeah, so that doesn't make any sense to me.
No, it doesn't.
So
because that just takes away what everyone learns is like you false one way or like you false a move to go get the other one.
Yeah, you have to create
like
the limit,
you have
right?
to.
You do.
It's the reaction concept of all of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, and it's really that was seriously too. It still sits with me really like uncomfortable in my
I actually
stomach.
remember that match too. Yeah, and like people like Hope, especially Hope, she knows the rules. Like you know, so like. She was looking at the time, winding down, and when she caught the sweep, she was like, yeah, sweep.
Yeah.
And then she was like, what? Like,
yeah, I couldn't, it was unbelievable. Like, it really...
It cancels itself out there, I have no idea.
And so that was the same when it comes to you. Like, it's... refereeing is a hard job. I always tell everyone, like, it's hard to criticise.
You don't always
referees.
get it right.
Yeah.
Refs don't always get it right.
Like, somebody was telling me there's a IBJJF test to be like head referee kind of thing, where you look at a video and it can be like up to 1:40 long, and then you have 15 seconds to apply the points, and no one in Australia has passed the test. Like the highest you have to get 95% or something to pass, and the highest that anyone has gotten, I think, is Kaio from Legacy. He got like 85%. That's how hard refereeing can be.
Yeah.
Like you sometimes have to watch a 1:40 like sequence, and they come out and go, yeah, there was an advantage, 2 points, 1 penalty.
Yeah.
Because you have to wait to the end of the sequence to award points. So it can be hard, but when it's a major thing. You can't afford to have like really big stuff ups at end matches.
When it's a big tournament that people pay a lot of money to go to and like participate in, and they really shouldn't be getting it that wrong.
Yeah,
like,
that wrong. Right?
That wrong. You can get it wrong, and it's not always going to... And sometimes you just... Refs be like, oh, look, sorry, my bad, I got it wrong.
Yeah.
Like, but you can't reverse it. Like,
just
own it. Just be like, oh, well, fuck, my bad.
Yeah, well, that's it, because I get... Obviously, when a kid... Refereeing kids is the most difficult thing because the kid does
refereeing
something...
kids that have parents.
Yeah,
otherwise.
the parent will argue about it, and some of them don't even know about jiu-jitsu.
It's the ones that don't know.
Yeah.
That does it for me.
I like when you talk to a coach who gets worked up, like, what's his name? Bradshaw? Grant Bradshaw. He's a classic example. He gets really worked up, and then, you know, I'll go talking through it and he'll go, yep, sorry, you're right. You know, that's
my bad, my mistake.
The parents will be like, just continue arguing. Yeah. So now we've started to do things like, I can't help you, go talk to, you know, grappling assistant Nick.
Go to management.
Yeah.
The complaint box is over there.
That's too bad. Just shut up. But that's it is hard. But again, like when it's at a higher level, you should have higher level refs. I couldn't volunteer myself to referee a world championship because I personally wouldn't be comfortable doing it. Because
you'll muck it up somewhere and then they'll be like...
Yeah. But that's if you want to be a ref, you have to be confident that you won't stuff it up like that, right? And so things like DQing somebody who slams legally within the rules ruins the whole entire...
it does. And like, I mean, it wasn't like it was the first match of the day. It was the finals.
It was the finals, exactly.
I was just like shaking my head. I was like, bro, we still had ages to go on the time. Well, why did you guys stop?
Yeah, and it was so demented, like really, like, and then when you get, I like the, like, we had the conversation on Instagram. In the actual ADCC, Adele does a mirror lock. gets a submission from it, and it's of course the other girl. I can't remember who it was against. Tapped, but she was within her rights to slam, and I'm really curious what would have happened if she had a slam.
Yeah.
Like really, like what would it have been?
It would have been Adele flying onto a armbar. She would have flown onto something, bro. That girl's so small. Like she would have flown onto something. She would never have let go. Yeah. Or it would have gone straight into a triangle.
So are you going to do ADCC 2026?
Whenever it comes back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Like, I'll do at least one more.
Yeah.
And see where we get.
But we still got to get Nikki versus Gase on
If we can't,
Supervision.
yeah.
Anything.
I mean, why not? Like, anyone that wants to put us on.
Yeah, for sure. She beat you in 2022, right? That was
Yes. Yeah.
And then 2024 to by a
With DQ. Yeah.
And so this is the other one, like, you know, we talked about before, split decisions always need a rematch.
Mm-hmm.
I think DQs always need a rematch too.
Yeah, especially when it's like DQ'd for something like that.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like I got DQ'd for, like, if I was a low about do reaping or something like that. You know, like, it wasn't.
Yeah. The fight was back and forth. Nikki did some good things, you did some good things. As I said, Nikki desperately, like, you know, I haven't spoken to Nikki about it. I don't even know Nikki, but in my mind, looking at it from an outside perspective, she was getting desperate, so she jumps guard, because that's what you do when you get desperate. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, you get DQ'd. I'm at the, you know, straight away I was like, yeah, rematch.
But also, like, jumping guard, is that not just pulling guard?
Yeah.
But in the air.
So,
and then, like,
out of everything, jumping guard is the only thing I think should be banned. I hate it so much. I've seen, you see those devastating injuries on the Instagram.
Oh yeah, I've seen knees flopping, like.
Yeah. Nah, I'm fine with like heel hooks in the gi. I don't care. You can heel hook in the gi. I think they should allow that. But jumping guard, I just want banned completely.
Yeah.
Anything you can tap to.
Yeah, exactly. You can't tap to a jump guard. And actually, a few years ago, we had a visitor in my gym from Brazil, and he was telling us he jumped guard, and then we told him, like, bro, don't jump guard. Okay, we're in the gym, just calm down. And he was telling us, like, at his gym in Brazil, they were teaching them to jump on the side instead of forward to purposely damage the leg. Like that.
What kind of jiu-jitsu is that?
Yeah, exactly.
That's dirty jiu-jitsu.
That is. It's like so bad. And that's why I was like, if you can teach someone to do that, as Johnny said, you can't tap to it.
All it takes is one clown.
Yeah, and then I'm like, they should ban. That's the only thing I think they should be banned.
Yeah.
Spinal locks, neck cranks, knee reaps and gi.
Oh, spinal locks. Mind you, that's just a twister.
Yeah, the twister.
Yeah.
I only twist the kids. It's true, actually. Just so they can learn. That's how I teach them, through twister. So, other things that have happened in combat sports in the last, since we've spoken, is the CJI ADCC thing. Obviously, Lucas, who you train with and is the head coach at SWA, Sydney Wrestling Academy, great training room. I strongly encourage everyone to visit. He qualified in
for
amazing fashion for ADCC. That run
the brother killed it.
Yeah.
Like, just absolutely slaughtered everyone he went up against.
I was watching that one, and yeah, so, you know, obviously in ADCC you can pull guard, but it's a negative to pull guard in the final. And I think the biggest mistake, it was Will he was fighting in the final, biggest mistake he made was doing a double leg on and that gave Lucas the guard.
The insert,
And then straight away I was like, well, now it's over.
Yeah.
And then Lucas qualifies for ADCC.
Yeah.
And then gets the late call up to CJI and shocked the entire world, basically.
Right. Spectacular fashion.
Yeah. So Victor Hugo was actually the favourite to win.
Yeah. I had no idea who he was.
Really?
Listen, I'm so bad when it comes to famous people and like anything, music, whatever, even in fighting, and like especially in jiu-jitsu, and they're like, "Oh, Gase, you just don't understand," and I'm like, "Yeah, but who is this guy?" And they were like, "What do you mean, who is this guy? It's Victor Hugo." I'm like, "Okay, cool."
He's beaten Nicky Rod 3 times. You know, they fought 3 times, and he's beaten him 3 times.
That means nothing to me. I don't know.
So Nicky Rod won.
He's just very good at jiu-jitsu, you know, like
super good. Yeah. And you know, it was obviously set, so it would be Nicky Rod versus Victor Hugo in the final, and Lucas stuffed it up.
Good, yeah, but like
in spectacular fashion. So this is the thing, right? while I was watching, as I said, you train with Lucas very regularly. I've rolled with him before. I still couldn't bear him bowling me.
You know your head's coming off.
I'm stirring the pot with everyone here. So he got hit for Victor Hugo with a spectacular heel hook. And one of the things was he did one of the things about Lucas in his lead up in the ADCC was he did Berimbolo style DLR 2 leg locks, which is not very common, but I noticed that like Ariel, Lucas, they're kind of, and Levi are doing this now. So do you get much into that game? They
do. Oh man, they speak and I'm like,
I don't know what you're talking
I
about.
need layman's terms, brothers. You guys do too much. They're very like jiu-jitsu orientated, so they do things that just go against the grain in jiu-jitsu, and I think it just works so well for them. They all have similar body types, but they all just like have the crazy like a mind of spaghetti, and they just can untangle it like nothing. So I get into like heel hooks a little bit, or I'll like entangle, mostly reaps and knee bars is probably some of my favorite things, but I just flick it. I just flick it. I just grab a leg. I'm like, okay, I think this is K-guard. I think this is outside. I think this is something here. I've got a little bit into
inside. Something's outside.
And
Something's inside.
Like, don't go that way, and I'm like, oh, okay, sweet, go the other way. Like, I get into it a little bit. Like my darling gets into it more than me. Like he knows more of the names, and he gets into the nitty gritty of it. Where I'm just like, oh, there's too many words. There's just like too many. There's too many inside, outside. Oh yeah, 50-50, a lot of 50-50. And like I work more for just defense, like just being aware of when I'm in that position, or just being aware if they grab my leg. Okay, they got all these inserts where they can like attach to this, attach to that, and I just have to be aware of like, okay, get my leg out, pass. Pretty much.
Pull it up. Just
I'm more of a passer than a guard player. But like the last 3-4 months, I've really been trying to like live my best guard life, and it still sucks.
Man, I know a lot of people who start working on guard, and they just tell me my guard is so bad, and I always tell them you have to get your guard passed.
Literally, just millions of times
before you finally get one good thing. You know, it's so hard, and the only way to do it is to do it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like you can get all the knowledge in the world, and I'll give you like guys like watched Ariel's some of his instructionals, and it'll give you like what specific angle your left hand should be versus your right and stuff. But until it works, it just won't work.
No, you just won't click. Like you get given these techniques, and they're like, okay, sweet. It's like learn how to drive. You're reading the book of how to drive, and then they chuck you in the driver's seat. And there's all these cars. You're like, wait, where'd these cars come from? Go away. I need to learn how to drive. But you can't. You just need to do it.
You have to just do it. And that's for guards especially. You can muscle through a lot of submissions. Like a lot of lower level,
basic
lower level submissions. Like, and I had one guy like in his third week. He's a massive unit that we had training at our gym. All right, he's like 7 feet tall. And
just a big boy.
Super strong, and he muscled an Americana on a blue belt in like his third week. It was the only move he knew. Muscled it. Right? It was a little blue belt. Okay,
the power.
So you can do that, but then you can pass his guard in like 1 second. Because he has he hasn't had his guard passed a million times.
It's a little bit harder. I feel like learning how to play guard is a lot harder than learning how to pass.
Yes.
But in the same sense, learning how to pass is still hard itself. Especially if you've got someone who's good at guard. Doing their guard and playing their game.
It's with people like Ari and it's Allsop and Lucas.
All of them. They have great guard, and the way they attach and reattach, and then like it's very fun. It's fun jiu-jitsu. It's fun watching, especially, and it's also fun rolling with them.
So, speaking of that, fun watching, what did you think of the final, the Levi versus Cade Roy title final at CGI?
I didn't actually watch that.
Oh my god!
I know all the boys have been like telling me, they're like, "What do you mean you didn't watch it? It was insane!" And I'm like, "Yeah, but I watched the highlights. I watched some of the highlights." Watch some of the highlights.
There's a lot of controversy about it on the internet. Seriously, I should watch it. Whether Levi or Cade won, but so Johnny thinks Levi.
Do you think it's just home turf, like?
No, because my assessment of it is, so Cade Ruotolo fights in one championship.
Yeah, he does.
And the way the one championship rules for jiu-jitsu works, now he's in the MMA, but he was in jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu, yeah.
The way it works is you get a point for every like proper submission.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what he does in one championship, if you go back and watch his matches, is he'll go on a toe hold or something and just do the full. So it looks like it's on. Yeah. But anyone who really knows jiu-jitsu will go, no, I'm not going to tap that. But he'll get a point for it.
Yeah.
And you'll see the ref go, point, you know. And so it's fair. He knows how to game the entire thing. So after his Tackett fight, and he knew he had to fight Levi, in his post-fight match interview, he said, I'm the kind of guy who doesn't pull guard. I want to wrestle. I want to make it entertaining for the fans. So he was already setting up Levi to be the bad guy. And of course, Levi sat down because he's Levi Jones.
Because he's Levi.
So is he going to wrestle really? Like, come on. I know he can do stand-up, but that's not his strength. He's fighting for $1 million. And then I found Cade Ruotolo really, he didn't do very good guard passing.
No. I watched that much of the highlight. I did.
Levi's guard retention is too good. And Cade Ruotolo is obviously really good. Much better than me. Maybe he could beat me. He can beat me.
Yeah, but his guard, Levi's guard retention is insane.
What I kind of found that match told me is Cade Ruotolo's guard passing will work on everyone in the world except for
people with good guards.
Yeah.
So it's like Lucas's second match.
Yeah.
It's very hard to pass that man's guard.
Exactly. And so, from a pure jiu-jitsu perspective, Levi showed jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, for what it's worth. Yeah, actually, yeah.
That was jiu-jitsu. That was jiu-jitsu. What Cade Ruotolo showed was more entertainment. So if the $1 million was for being the most entertaining, for the masses, then he won.
Yeah.
But if it was for a jiu-jitsu match, Levi won. That's my thing. And in the end, you can only go off who actually won. So in reality, Cade won.
So like in the rounds, who would you have given it to? Like
I would have given it to Levi all 3 rounds, all 5 rounds. Because pure jiu-jitsu. And even there was the one round where Cade decided to sit to guard or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And Levi straight away pressure pass.
Yeah.
And Cade went no.
Yeah, standing back up.
I don't want any of this. Yeah. And of course Levi's going to sit back down. You're not going to wrestle with Cade Ruotolo if you're Levi Jones Leary. You're going to wrestle with Cade Ruotolo if you're Pat Downey, because he's a wrestler, right?
Yeah.
So that was.
Then wouldn't at one point would you be like, okay, now I actually have to stand up and actually try and pass if it was going to go decision?
Yeah, well, from Levi's perspective, well, I don't know. They had open scoring and Levi knew he was down.
Yeah.
But it's the kind of thing where I guess he just stuck to his game plan of trying to enter and get a leg and get a submission. It's
one of those things too where I think jiu-jitsu people let themselves down. If you play too much guard, you just stay in guard.
Yeah, and I've actually talked to Ariel about this because he's one of the... I don't like guard players that much, okay? Because even though I'm the half guard prince, I don't actually play half guard. But I don't actually play half guard, to be honest. I get to... It's in jiu-jitsu...
It's more like just stalemate, use it to rest.
Yes. I'm an old man, alright? I should be bald. But my philosophy of jiu-jitsu is guard is solely to get to the top. Right? That's my personal philosophy. Yeah. So I actually play top, and I just use the half guard to get to top. So my thing is, like, I like the way Ariel and Lucas as well, but Ariel, because Lucas hasn't been in... I've talked to Ariel about it because Lucas hasn't been in the public eye as much because of his injuries over the past few years and stuff. I like the way he transitions guard into attack. Mm-hmm. And then you'll see a lot of people who play that style of guard that don't attack.
Yeah.
They're just retaining.
And Ari plays that very well.
Yeah. Yes. So the problem with Levi was he wasn't able to progress to an attack.
He couldn't activate a sweep, or because he was too focused on attacking just the legs.
Yes, exactly. Just too focused on attacking the legs. And all that Cade did was kept
bouncing back, running
out. And it's much harder from an open guard perspective to engage forward than it is from a guard passing perspective to engage forward. So Cade had more mobility because he's on his feet.
Yeah.
So in reality, if you think about it, if Levi really wanted $1 million, he should have
just got up.
Yeah, he should have changed his game plan. Should have done something different because it was open scoring. He knew he was down by.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So he knew he was losing.
Yeah, but sometimes it's like one of those hardest things. Like you see a lot in MMA fighters who are great grapplers. Yeah. Is that sometimes when they end up on the bottom, they all of a sudden want to play close guard. And it's hard for you to get up. Like, it's literally hard for you. Sometimes you get stuck there because the person on top is very good at keeping square on your hips.
Yeah.
So for you to hip escape out, you get stuck on the cage. Yeah. Or they're just going to keep following you. So it's actually, you find yourself actually stuck there as opposed to, like, you should have got out.
Yeah.
Maybe a minute before that.
Yeah, before you entered into this, like...
But you hit that, like, state in your mind where you just get too comfortable and you're just like, oh, I'm right off my back. I'm right off my back.
Yeah, it's you can't take it away, you know.
No.
Cade won because Cade won
because Cade won.
Yeah,
literally because Cade won.
There's no appeal, bro.
Yeah.
Like that's it. He won. But yeah, from my main thing is like Cade was more entertaining to the masses.
Yeah.
Every really hardcore jiu-jitsu guy that is like really hardcore jiu-jitsu, not the combination of submission grappling with jiu-jitsu, wrestling, judo, that kind of thing. Every hardcore jiu-jitsu guy is like Levi won. The people who are more like, you know, like wrestling,
ponies,
they're all like, Cade won. But I also thought, to be honest, Andrew Tackett won the Cade Rotolo match, the match before.
Yeah.
Because again, like Cade did these fake submissions that weren't on.
But it makes it look like they were on.
Yeah. And so he won the points in the last round because he got like a dance.
Yeah.
But at no point did Tackett even look like he was going to tap or...
Even he knew it wasn't on.
Yeah.
He's just...
And so I thought, I'd be really interested to see now Levi versus Andrew Tackett. Because it'd be like, you know...
That'd be a great match, though.
Yeah. Obviously, Levi's going to sit to guard and Tackett's going to do... I think Tackett has kind of better technique than Cade Rotolo.
Yeah, actually.
So,
you should just watch a video of Tackett getting pumped by his dad this morning on the way here. Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Poor guy.
I don't know how it just showed up. It showed up on my feed and I was like, oh.
Yeah, because I just think he's better at... Like, again, I can't take away from Cade Rotolo. Obviously, he's CJI champion. He's a...
Oh, great accolades.
Yeah.
Very great accolades.
I just wonder how long he's going to be able to continue, him and his brother as well, continue like that in their style. Because as you get older, you get...
Enhancers get stronger. I'm just kidding.
Well, you start to play half guard. As a man, you shave your head, you grow a big bushy beard, and you play half guard. Get a dad bod. No, like it's just too intense. And Ty has had a lot of injuries. Like he got injured against Levi. Had a lot of injuries that I think will catch up to him a lot quicker.
Yeah, well, their body's been repeatedly smashed since they were how young.
Yeah, like really young.
Yeah, and that's a long time. Like even just for me, like how many years I've done it, and I know how wrecked my body is. Like I could only imagine theirs, and theirs is like day in day out.
Yeah,
they eat, breathe, and live it. Like it's, and they don't have responsibilities other than being athletes.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're probably absolutely hammered inside.
Yeah.
The body of a 40-year-old man.
How long are they going to be able to do that crazy, intense level of jiu-jitsu?
Yeah. I reckon it comes down. I mean, I've heard Gordon Ryan talk about it, like how he used to train insane.
Yeah.
And now he's kind of just like simmered down and understands that he doesn't need to train so insane as long as he gets his reps or whatever.
Yeah, well, he was on Jake Shields' podcast the other day. If you listen to that, it's really interesting how he talks about Jake Shields used to be able to stand up underneath Gordon Ryan, just stand up.
Yeah.
Gordon Ryan couldn't hold him down. And so that's what inspired Gordon Ryan to learn just solely about pinning. He went to John Danaher and said, I can't hold Jake down. What do I do? Mm-hmm. And so now there's this thing that they do, which you saw a lot in ADCC actually with all the B team guys that they call camping. You know, they just stay on top, applying pressure and camping. It's not stalling, it's camping. And I want to tell every person in the world...
Is that not the definition of the same thing?
Yeah, if I'm reffing you and you're camping, I'm penalising you, okay? Like everyone. But what they do is they just hold the hips down, apply a lot of pressure, like weight and pressure to the hips, and then just stay there until you're worn out. And that's Gordon Ryan's, like, method, you know. Like you said...
But it's like MMA. You're holding them, like... You literally hold them down for them to gas out a little bit, and then you can move a little bit.
And then you can start.
And then you can start punching them in the face.
Yeah. And so, but that's the thing. Like they know, they've really labelled it. They called it camping. They're not stalling. They're camping. It's the biggest load of bullcrap.
Is that some copyright?
Yeah, it's just marketing, you know.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't want to get pinged for stalling. I'm camping.
If you even think of like old school jiu-jitsu, they used to say like the less movement you're doing with your rolling partner, the better you are.
Yeah.
I remember my old coach saying that crap all the time. Like
no,
he would say that. He'd just be like, you know, if you're not rolling, as if you're not like in too much movement or something like that, like you and your partner having a really good roll, and then you see two people like stuck in half dip, and they're laying there on top, like looking at each other, like, bro, we're rolling really well. Bro,
that's
don't
every
move.
one of John's rolls.
Yeah, it is actually. It's true. Just sitting half guard. I'm making micro adjustments, all right.
Like, I'm like, yeah, there's times when you need to do that, but also there's like, you're both not going to learn much if you're both just camping out having a cup of tea.
Look, my last 2 competitions, I haven't been pinged for stalling. All right, that's my last 2 competitions.
It's just you bending the rules.
Yeah, I think 2 comps ago, I seriously like 40 seconds to go. I was up by points, and my training partner said there's 40 seconds to go, and I was like, cool, I can't get DQ'd for stalling. So I stayed there doing nothing for 40 seconds. Yeah. It's terrible. So, all right. I just want to get back to CJI and ADCC. Did you watch any ADCC?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it. A couple of the ladies. I watched a couple of Adele's matches.
Oh, she won double gold. First Australian to win gold. First Australian to win double gold. Yeah.
And just so little too. Yeah. Like, she's in the smallest weight class.
She was the smallest weight in the smallest weight class. Yeah. And it's all insane. Submissions, I think, except one. All submissions.
Yeah, I think
she had one.
An absolute. Yeah. She was like went the 4 rounds.
Yeah. Absolutely crazy.
Just did amazing. Yeah. Did really well for herself.
So
showed her jiu-jitsu.
Last time Jake was here, it was when Adele was in Subversion, and I had an awesome time to spend the whole day with those guys. And we came out to SWA, and I watched her. She's like, you know, Ari and Lucas kind of. It was just blew my mind. Yeah. You know, I went back to my gym and I was telling everybody, they always have this saying, there's levels in jiu-jitsu.
Oh, 100%.
When you experience the levels, it's really mind-blowing. And I went back to the gym and said, guys, you need to understand this. Like, there are levels. Because Lucas spoke through a sequence that he had been using to Adele. He like talked.
Yeah, and then she's like, yeah, okay,
so long,
cool.
40 steps. Yeah. And she was like, you mean like this?
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, man. Like, and he was like, yeah, exactly like that.
Yeah. Literally, that's the level they are at. Like, all of them. Ari, Hope, even, like, all of them are at that level. And it's just like, you know, so, and then I get lost because, like, sometimes I listen to them talk and they use these big jiu-jitsu words. And I'm like, brothers.
Yeah, that's the worst. When I teach, the worst question I can have is, and what's that called? Yeah. I just call it bending your arm until it snaps.
I used to do that. Lucas is like, Gase, just call it what it is. Yeah, okay, I got to think. But sometimes I'll get it right, and sometimes I'll just be like, oh, it feels like it's this.
But it can be a little bit hard in jiu-jitsu, I think. Like, if you watch in one of the Gordon Ryan instructionals, he in the intro, he says, guys, if you watched all my other instructionals and I'm doing a move and I'm calling it something different, it's because John will come into the gym every 6 months and change the name of everything.
Yeah, everyone calls it different things.
Yeah, so it's hard. You have to establish them. So when we were teaching leg locks at our gym, there was like a group of like 6 or 7 people, and we all decided what we would call them. I was like, this position is called saddle, 411, blah, 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 blah. Which one do you want to call it? And they'd be like, saddle. Okay, cool. We're going to call it the saddle. It is the saddle. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, there's like outside ashi, which can also be... I can't even remember all of them.
There's too many.
Yeah.
There's way too many.
And, you know, I like the one we used to experience recently with Mikey Musumeci. We were watching Mikey Musumeci DVD, and he doesn't call it a hip bone. He calls it an ASIS, because that's the technical term for it. So he kept saying you got to put your foot on the ASIS. ASIS. And we're like, what is that? And
yeah, so you just speak English. Like, what is
just
that?
say hip.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's a difference between, his justification is because there's a difference between the hip and the bone.
What, by an inch?
Yeah.
Of skin.
Yeah. If it's not working where you put your foot, when you put the foot on the hip, put your foot somewhere else on the hip and you'll find it. You don't need to concentrate on the ASIS. So, but now we use it ironically in the gym. I always constantly say
have a bit of a laugh.
Yes, yeah. So that's about all I've got, right? You got any sponsors to shout out?
You guys. And thanks for having me again on your podcast.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you. PR Shed back in Blenheim, they're always like keeping me strong fit throughout camp. And my management team.
Oh, and social medias, how do people find you?
Yep. I don't know my social media. Gase. I'm terrible. I'm terrible with social media.
It's
Gase underscore Sanita.
Gase underscore
11.
Sanita 11. Yes.
And also shout out to my teams, SWA. I've been training a lot at Central Coast with Ross and the boys there, so shout out to them, and shout out to the boys, Joe and the boys at Freestyle.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's been amazing.
Right, thanks for coming. Everybody,
Thank
don't
you very
forget to
much.
follow Gase and SmartB at SmartB app on all the socials. And if you need some CBD products, go to Optimum CBD, our SmartB podcast sponsor. Cool.
Thank you.